Drips and stains. It comes in your choice of dozens of colors and sweeps up sparkling clean in just seconds.
No need to wear shoes in the garage and track dirt back in the house.
Gorgeous?
Check. Durable?
Check. Tidy enough to walk on wearing clean white socks? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com. That's CheckmateCoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Aaron Williams. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Wednesday evening that has us, well, one day closer to Championship Sunday, the AFC Championship game, New England at Denver, the NFC Championship game, the Rams at the Seahawks. I'm trying to get there with those two games. As we all know, the most important thing is getting there, right? It doesn't matter necessarily how you get there or even how long it takes to get there, but you just got to get there. And I'm trying to get there with these two games. But here we sit on a Wednesday, and I'm not there yet. Hopefully I get more intrigued about Patriots, Broncos, and Seahawks, Rams as we get further along in the process. So we'll talk a little bit about those tonight. Obviously, there is some news in the NFL coaching carousel, including Grant Udinski getting looked at now by more than one team, Anthony Campanile getting looked at now by multiple teams. Are you starting to maybe come to the realization that perhaps one or even both of those guys will not return here to Jacksonville in 2026? So we will certainly talk about that. In fact, in Udinski's case, we will go to Cleveland right about 9 o'clock, maybe a tad after. My guy with the Cleveland Browns is Scott Petrak of BrownZone.com, and we'll find out just how much in play the Jaguar offensive coordinator is for the head job in Cleveland. So we will talk Browns with Scott Petrak of BrownZone.com. And we will take a look also at Anthony Campanile, right? He interviewed in Miami, did not get that job. That went to Jeff Hafley, who, ironically enough, Campanile coached with at Green Bay in 2024. We know that he interviewed in Baltimore yesterday, and apparently at some point he did a virtual interview with the Arizona Cardinals and now is flying out to Arizona to talk in person. We will go out to Phoenix tomorrow and get the very latest from the Cardinals on their coaching search when it comes to Anthony Campanile, but certainly a lot of smoke around the two Jaguar coordinators. We will get to that also here in a moment. And as Rick and I were talking about there during the 2-minute drill, weird, bizarre scene in Buffalo today. I don't know if you guys have watched that press conference with Bills owner Terry Pegula and their general manager Brandon Beane. Was odd, to say the least. One of the weirder press conferences you'll ever see, and I thought it was quite frankly, a terrible look for the Buffalo Bills. And we'll get into that in a moment. By the way, not that this is a celebration or anything, but I did want to point out, happy January 21st to you Jaguar fans. Not a fun day on the calendar in the history of the Jaguars. It was on this day 8 years ago that Myles Jack wasn't down, yet he was ruled down by the officials. I was in Foxborough for that game. I will never in my life forget when they went to commercial break. Jaguars are up 10 in the fourth quarter, and the New England Patriots put John Bon Jovi on the video board. He was sitting in the owner's booth with Robert Kraft, and the entire stadium started just belting out Living on a Prayer from John Bon Jovi. I have been to Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. I've obviously been to the Swamp. I've been to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Doak Campbell at night, you name it. I've never in my life heard a stadium as loud as that place was when John Bon Jovi came on in the fourth quarter at Gillette Stadium. And you'll never convince me that that really didn't turn that game around, because after Bon Jovi got that crowd fired up, the Patriots went on to outscore Jacksonville, 17-0 or whatever it was in the fourth quarter, and went on to win the game. But yeah, that was 8 years ago today. And then 3 years ago today, the Jaguars fell at Arrowhead to Kansas City a week after the comeback over the Chargers. So January 21st hasn't exactly been good to the Jaguars. January 22nd, on the other hand, has been. More on that on tomorrow night's Hacker After Dark. Also, guest lineup. I mentioned Scott Petrak in Cleveland. We will go to Nashville. Tyler Rowland of the Locked On Titans podcast, as we'll talk a little Robert Saleh, the new head coach at Tennessee, what that does from their perspective to the Jaguar-Titan rivalry moving forward. And coming up in less than 15 minutes, my buddy Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll talk about his alma mater falling a tad short in the national championship game on Monday night. We will also talk about the coordinators and a lot going on revolving around the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we are absolutely loaded. We are with you till 10 o'clock. As always, Jacksonville, we are glad you are spending part of your Wednesday evening with us. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Aaron Williams. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
on Hacker After Dark.
There is no doubt that I want Grant Udinski and Anthony Campanile back in Jacksonville in 2026. You should want them back as well. And maybe that's us being selfish, because obviously at some point they're both going to leave to become head coaches. I just hope that's maybe a year or two from now as opposed to right now, because I think right now the Jaguars have a very good thing going. I am a big fan of Grant Udinski. I am a big fan of Anthony Campanile. But you would be naive, and I would be naive, to not look at the facts. The facts are Grant Udinski, it looks like he's a finalist for the Cleveland job. The facts are now the Buffalo Bills are interested in talking to Grant Udinski. The facts are Campanile already interviewed in Miami, got a second interview in Baltimore, and come to find out, virtually interviewed with Arizona, and is now flying out there for an in-person conversation with the Cardinals. There's a lot of smoke around Udinski and Campanile. And what does that mean? Well, I think it means that likely one or even both may not be back in 2026. I say all that to say this. As big a fan as I am of Grant Udinski and Anthony Campanile, rewind the clock back 1 year when Liam Cohen got hired. Had anybody listening to my voice right now ever contemplated the notion of Anthony Campanile being the Jaguar defensive coordinator? Had anybody even heard of Grant Udinski? Honestly. Not to say that's anything negative about them. My point is Liam Cohen went out and found terrific men to be the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator. And if you lose Udinski, and if you lose Campanile, then the ball's back in Liam's court. It's going to be his job for the second year in a row to find good coaches, good men to bring into this organization and run the offense. Obviously, he'll have a big say on that, but more so to run the defense like Campanile does. Let me make it very clear. I am not at any stretch of the imagination saying anything about Grant Udinski and Anthony Campanile not being unbelievably valuable. I've said it the entire night. I want them back in 2026. I think it would be unbelievable if this staff returns. But I also understand the idea that both, or certainly one, may not be here in the next couple of days. They're finalists for jobs in the NFL right now. And it's going to be up to Liam Cohen again to go find the next Anthony Campanile or to go find the next Grant Udinski. He did it last year with very little experience. He was the head coach for a week before he started hiring these guys. Now he's got a year under his belt, arguably the NFL Coach of the Year, and it will be his responsibility to go out and find good, solid coaches to replace Udinski or Camp if they were to leave, and I have all the confidence in the world that Liam Cohen will be able to do that once again. I mentioned to Rick earlier, before we get to Leon Searcy, so the Buffalo press conference earlier today. Owner Terry Pegula, general manager Brandon Beane were there talking about the dismissal of Sean McDermott. Just a weird press conference, a bad look. So Pegula, the owner, is asked by the Buffalo media, what led you to the decision to fire Sean McDermott? And Pegula goes, the loss in Denver. That's what it was, the loss in Denver. I was in the locker room after that game 4 days ago, right? He was in the locker room. He saw tears in the eyes of Josh Allen. He said they had hit the proverbial playoff wall, is how he described it, the playoff wall, and they needed a change. Okay, he's the owner, fair enough, whatever. But then in the same press conference, no more than 2 minutes later, what went wrong against Denver? Brandon Beane was asked that, the general manager. Terry Pegula, the owner, goes, it was a catch. So wait a minute. You fired Sean McDermott, in your own words, because of the loss in Denver. That's why you fired him, because they lost the game in Denver. Yet you think your team got the business from the refs. You think that Brandon Cook's play should have been ruled a catch, in which case Buffalo has a 43-yard field goal to advance to the AFC Championship game. And you fire McDermott anyway? Doesn't make a lot of sense. That's called putting your foot in your mouth at a press conference setting. Secondly, Beane is being asked as well about the lack of wide receivers for Buffalo. Does he feel that he has not done an adequate job in surrounding Josh Allen with talent? And as he's trying to give an answer, the owner jumps in, literally says, let me interrupt you, and starts talking about Keon Coleman, the former Florida State wide receiver. And the owner of the team says Keon Coleman was drafted here essentially because the coaching staff wanted him, and Brandon Beane is a team player and wanted to listen to all sides and did not want to start an argument, basically is what he said. I mean, Keon Coleman can never play for the Buffalo Bills again. The owner of the team just ran over you with a forklift in a press conference setting and then doubled down on it, backed the forklift up, continuing to press the notion that it was the previous coaching staff that just got fired that wanted you and not the current general manager. Why do that to that kid in that setting? Why? Was that necessary? It's a Bush League move, man. Maybe Keon Coleman isn't all you hoped for. Maybe he has been a disappointment. But to crush a kid after what, year 2? In a press conference setting like that as the owner of the team? I thought that was ridiculous. Ridiculous. A lot of other people thought it was ridiculous too. If you're a coaching candidate, yeah, you get to coach Josh Allen, but you want to go into that dumpster fire of an organization right now? The owner saying, I fired Sean McDermott basically on the spot because they lost the Denver game, while in the same sentence saying we should not have lost the Denver game because the referees gave us a bad call. But which one is it? And then to just obliterate one of your young wide receivers like that. And by the way, what he said appears not even to be true. Because was it Hard Knocks or one of those shows that had Brandon Beane mic'd up at the Combine and in the War Room, he was all about drafting Keon Coleman. So which is it? It's a bad look for the Bills, man. It's worth, 10, 15 minutes of your time, of course, after Hacker After Dark, of course, to go listen to some of that if you're a football fan. You want to talk about a way not to conduct yourself in a press conference setting? Go look at what the Buffalo Bills owner and GM did earlier today. Bad look for that organization. 904-641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Your thoughts always welcome here on a Wednesday night on Hacker After Dark. Coming up next, let's talk to a man that's played in 4 championship Sundays. 2 as a Pittsburgh Steeler, 2 as a Jacksonville Jaguar. My buddy Leon Searcy knows all about playing on Championship Sunday. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about, of Grant Udinski and Anthony Campanile, which can the Jaguars least afford to lose? And yeah, with Leon, he is a Miami Hurricane Hall of Famer, a 3-time national champion. I'll have to ask him about the heartache from Monday night's loss to Indiana. My buddy Leon Searcy joins me next on a Wednesday night here in the city of Jacksonville. We're glad you're with us. It's Hacker After Dark.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
We're not a team.
They are the Drill.
We're a time bomb.
Explosive morning radio
I don't find you threatening at all.
on 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Spend an evening with James Taylor and his all-star band. The music icon is back on tour. September 22nd and 23rd, St. Augustine Amphitheater. The multiple Grammy Award-winning James Taylor and a night full of his biggest hits. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com. Spend the night with a friend. James Taylor.
When someone excels in and out of the classroom, we should celebrate it.
That's why 1010XL brings you the Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Wednesdays on The Frangie Show, tuned up by
The Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Is that a turtleneck?
Can't you feel it, Jason? There's a chill in the air. A definite nip.
I mean, it is January.
In Jacksonville, Jason. I didn't come here for cold.
Well, I wouldn't call this.
Cold weather gives me the sniffles. Sniffles turns to pneumonia. Suddenly, I'm in a hospital bed with a tube down my throat because Florida didn't get the memo about ignoring winter.
So switch over to heat.
What if my system can't remember how to heat?
Dude, put on these sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing can make sure your system is ready to switch from cooling to heat. We'll clean your heating coil to get rid of that burning dust smell and make sure you have the coolant pressure to keep your heat pump pumping out the heat.
Huh, I had no idea these sunglasses worked in the winter.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hi, I'm Terry Andrews, President and CEO of Here Tomorrow. With support from the players, we're making suicide prevention accessible to everyone in our community. Just 48 days until the players.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Boy, there's a lot going on. We got Championship Sunday coming up this week in both the AFC and the NFC. We have a brand new National College Football champion on the gridiron, and we have another interview for Jaguar offensive coordinator Grant Yudinski. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on XL Primetime, and we're lucky enough to have him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, how we doing, man?
I'm good, bro.
All right, a couple of days removed from your alma mater falling just short in the national title game. Leon, your thoughts on the game this past Monday night?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can be devastated and proud at the same time, but I actually I was devastated by the loss, of course. I thought the University of Miami had a hell of a run, to the point where, the committee, we had to wait and see if the committee was going to put us in for weeks after weeks. Then when we finally got in, I was proud of the fact that this team didn't just settle for getting into the tournament, but actually made some noise, beating Texas A&M, beating Ohio State, beating Ole Miss, and then going toe-to-toe with the potential national champion, the number one team in the country. But, here's the thing about Indiana. I mean, they play pretty much mistake-free, clean football the whole entire year. And if you give them opportunities or breakdowns in any capacity, they're going to expose it. And I think that's what happened to Miami. First and foremost, in the first half, the offense couldn't get going. You got issues on special teams where you got a missed field goal going into the half, then you get a blocked punt. I think our defense played outstanding to keep us in the game on down 10 at half. And pretty much for the whole game, they played pretty much across the line of scrimmage. Took us a while to get going offensively. Then we got going, and then it was a back and forth game until it wasn't. And as much grief as Carson Beck is getting for that interception, we're not in the championship game without him. So I'm proud of my boys. There are no moral victories, so to say, at Miami. It's championship or bust, but I can't take away the fact that they had an outstanding season. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play next year.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, in my opinion, people were talking about Mario Cristobal certainly coming into this season. Maybe he got a little bit of that weight off his shoulders after what they did last year, but they did have the collapse at the end of last year. But there's no more questioning your former teammate in Mario Cristobal. I mean, he is clearly the right man for the job. They came in with an eyelash of winning a national title, and I would have to think the future for Miami looks very, very bright moving forward.
Yeah, I think so too. I just believe in them. Listen, when Mario told me during the off season, during the summer, that those guys work hard, they just work and they compete every day. I could tell by the product that I seen on the field this past Monday night that they're relentless, and now they understand the bar. I mean, I'm not going to make Indiana the bar, but they understand what it needs to be done to win a championship, and you've got to be able to establish yourself on both sides of the ball, be mistake-free. And when you get an opportunity to wipe a team out, you got to wipe them out. And that's what Indiana did all season.
Former Miami Hurricane and Jacksonville Jaguar offensive tackle Leon Searcy. Leon, final thought about Monday night from an Indiana standpoint. I mean, look, you're a 3-time national champion. You're a Miami Hurricane Hall of Famer. Just speak to what Indiana did, man. I mean, 16-0. They're the first college football team to go 16-0 since Yale did it back in 1894. I have no idea why they were playing 16 college football games in 1894, but apparently they were. So it's been 130 years since anybody's done it. And what Cignetti's done there in 2 years in turning that program around and getting them a national championship, I mean, that's one of the biggest stories in the history of college football.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's unprecedented what he's done. You're talking about a guy who's played, 29 games. He's 27-2 as a coach.
It's crazy.
And he took a team, it wasn't much thought of this year. I mean, it might have been, they only think they were in the top 10 going into the preseason. I think they had them like 18 or something like that to go to to play the way that, listen, it's about getting guys to buy in. I mean, he's not necessarily going after 4 and 5-star guys. He's going after mature guys who've been in the portal, a little bit more groomed, buys into the system, works hard, competes. And those guys, he play. If you buy into the system, well, what he has, and you compete, you're going to win a lot of football games. And that's what this team did throughout the whole season. I mean, they demolished teams. I mean, you're talking about teams like the Alabamas of the world, the Oregons of the world. I mean, they smashed them. Wasn't even close. So, I mean, he's going to have some issues this year a little bit. He's got a lot of talent that's going to be playing in the NFL come this year. So he's going to have to move and maneuver a lot of guys into place. But all he's got to do is he's a proven winner, man. He said, Google me. He did. He told him to Google him and listen. It's going to go down in the annals as one of the greatest college football seasons ever.
Leon, let's shift gears to the National Football League now. And if I would have told you on Labor Day when the season started that at the end of the year, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Buffalo Bills would all be looking for new head coaches, I mean, that's crazy to think about, right? What would you have said?
Yeah, that'd have been crazy. You're talking about prominent organizations that have been, in the wheelhouse to win championships. Now, of course, Buffalo hasn't won one, but they've always been contending for one. The Ravens have 2, the Steelers have 6, and they've got outstanding and prominent quarterbacks at the helm. Future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. You're talking about Josh Allen. That all 3 of those franchises would be looking for a head coach, but at some particular point, you got to get over the hump. You look at a guy like Mike Thomas, who I've met before, who I respect, has a lot of wisdom and knowledge, professionally and socially. Been with the Steelers 19 years. Hasn't had a losing season in 19 years, but was 0-7 in the playoffs and can't get him over the hump, even with a Hall of Fame Aaron Rodgers at the helm. So, and then you look at Sean McDermott, who's been in the playoffs, I don't know, maybe almost every year he was with the Buffalo Bills. You got the great Josh Allen at the helm. And then you're not playing. Patrick Mahomes is out. Lamar is not playing. Joe Burrow's not playing. And yet the Buffalo Bills can't get over the hump. And then they felt like they've got to make a change because of all the talent around him. Josh Allen hasn't made it to a Super Bowl. And then you look at the Ravens, you're talking about John Harbaugh, who's been there 18 years, who's got a Super Bowl ring. And whatever issues he may have with the general manager or Lamar Jackson, you figure a way to make it work, and it hasn't. So they've moved on. So that's just crazy. That's just the nature of the business now. A lot of these coaches aren't given a lot of time to win games, and even coaches who've been there a long time, at some particular point, I guess the general manager or the franchises get frustrated by the lack of mobility as far as getting to a Super Bowl.
Former Jacksonville Jaguar offensive tackle Leon Searcy. Leon, one of those job openings is Buffalo. We got word this morning that Jaguar offensive coordinator Grant Udinski has been requested for an interview in Buffalo. We already know Udinski is going to have a second interview with Cleveland scheduled for Friday. There's a lot of smoke with Udinski, and you wonder if either Cleveland or Buffalo will ultimately hire him. Boy, it would be interesting. And again, you played over a decade in the NFL. You worked with a lot of offensive coordinators. I certainly hope Grant returns in 2026. But the idea that a 30-year-old that has never called plays as an offensive coordinator is getting looks as a head coach just speaks volumes to what Grant Udinski is earning as a reputation around the National Football League.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean, that's the price you pay when you're good. To be quite honest with you, Hack, and we've been waiting a long time for this team to be good, and this year they're very good. And then the development of Trevor Lawrence, Udinski and Liam were tag teams on that, and getting him to play, above standard. And I think a lot of NFL teams are looking at that. So when you go 13-4 in this league, and you've had the success that Trevor's had, offensively as well, you're going to have people poaching you. You're going to have people poaching you in your territory. So very interesting to see what kind of even the defensive coordinator, Campanelli. I mean, he's getting some interviews as well. So I mean. It's just that's the price you pay for success, I guess.
I want to get into Championship Sunday as we wrap up, but of the two guys, Campanelli and then Udinski, if they were to, look, we hope both guys are back, certainly, but if they were to lose one, I get the feeling Udinski might be the one you might want to lose because Cohen is the play caller. Campanelli did such a good job with the defense, plus you would probably take a lot of the defensive coaches. I'd hate to lose either one, Leon, but I think of the two, Udinski would be the one you'd probably be willing to lose first, correct?
Yeah, I definitely would be willing to lose him. I mean, not discrediting him in any way, but, Liam is the play caller, but we don't know what kind of real influence that he's had on Trevor as far as technique, as far as recognizing defenses and all the other breakdowns that go on with being a quarterback. But yes, Campanelli, I mean, you're talking about a guy who took a defense that was ranked 28th or 27th in the NFL and made them a top 10 defense. I mean, he's resurgent all kind of careers over there. Buster Brown's, Antonio's career, Devin Lloyd's career. I mean, he's got them to playing above par. Got them playing above out of their mind, to be quite honest with you, compared to what they were doing at 4-13. So, yeah, of the two, if I was to lose it would probably be the offensive coordinator and not the defense coordinator.
Leon, let's end with Championship Sunday. You've obviously played in many Championship Sundays in your day. How many total for you? 5 Championship Sundays?
4. 2 in Pittsburgh, 2 in Jacksonville.
Yeah, 4 Championship Sundays. So you're certainly a veteran of this game. I'm trying to get there as far as getting excited about these games. A little bittersweet because Jacksonville, probably had an argument to be one of the better teams in the AFC. But look, so could Buffalo, Houston. It's going to be bittersweet for a lot of teams. And the last two standing are Denver, now without Bo Nix, against New England. And then on the NFC side, it's Seattle and the Rams. What's a thought from you on both games on Sunday?
Well, heck, I mean, I was talking about this when Jacksonville lost to Buffalo, and I could always reflect on when I was a player and we lost to a team that we probably should have beat. Didn't have to watch that team the next week play in the divisional round or the championship round or whatever. But if you're a Jaguar, if you're a Jaguar player right now, Championship Sunday, you could beat either one of you beat one of those teams at their house a couple of months ago with the Broncos, and you could beat the Patriots. So as a player right now, you're frustrated at the fact that that if you lined up that Sunday against either one of these teams, you could beat them. But in saying all that, I don't see how the Broncos pull this off with a guy who hasn't thrown the ball in, 3 years, bro?
Yeah.
2 years?
You know what they're doing? They're talking about how good his preseason was.
No, that's ridiculous. Stop it.
Right.
just stop it, okay? I mean, you're talking about a guy who's been holding a clipboard for the last 3 years and hasn't played the game that is essentially is going to walk into an AFC championship game and be effective. They just stop it, okay? Listen, he's going to be, only way you're going to be able to help this, you're going to have to be able to run the ball. You have to be able to run the ball and play action. And if I'm the New England Patriots, I'm blitzing and I'm stopping the run. I'm blitzing. I'm making him win the ball game. I mean, you can say you got home field advantage and all that other kind of stuff, but he's not ready for this. I will be surprised. Now, Sean Payton is an offensive genius. He's won the Super Bowl. If he pulls this off, this will be miraculous. But there's no way there's no way the Patriots don't win this game and go to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. And on the other side, I think you got the two best teams in the NFC, Seattle and the Rams. I've seen them play twice this year, and they've been good games. So that's going to be a barn burning. But here's the thing. I mean, your boy Sam Darnold's still playing with that oblique. I don't know how long. I mean, they hit it last week by running the football effectively with Walker and I call him Chardonnay. They ran the ball effectively. But I think this Rams defense is another beast. And I think anytime you got Matthew Stafford on your side, it's never going to be an easy evening for you. So if I were to pick two teams to go to the Super Bowl, it'd probably be New England and it'd probably be the Rams, a little old school flavor.
Yeah, that's probably the way I'm leaning too. I think the Rams are the best team in football of the four that are left. And when they got by Chicago last week in overtime, that might have been their biggest hurdle left to a Super Bowl. We shall see. It should be a fun championship Sunday. A guy that's played in four of them is my buddy Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on XL Primetime, and we get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, thank you as always, pal. We'll talk soon.
You got it, bro.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios, polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts. Your place for Jags news. Jacksonville Sports Superstation has the Jaguars covered. 1010 XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clearwater irrigation
and drainage too.
If your home doesn't have a fireplace, CSS can install a beautiful electric or gas fireplace from Heat & Glow with no major remodel required. See their showroom or CSSOutdoor.com for a free estimate. CSS, you dream it, we build it.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up?
Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Give a unique gift this Valentine's Day to that special person in your life with a custom-made candle or body care product from Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
Here's good advice from your friends here at 1010XL. I'm Frank Frangie. The next time you need to send a gift for a birthday, anniversary, wedding, or just for the fun of it, call the experts at Kuhn Flowers. For over 75 years, Kuhn Flowers does it right.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is, with Aaron Williams, the hacker Ryan Green with you till 10 o'clock tonight, 1010XL 92.5 FM. We will go to Cleveland coming up here in just over 20 minutes or so. Scott Petrak has been my guy with the Cleveland Browns for a long time. He's with BrownZone.com. And I'm going to ask Scott flat out, where does Grant Udinski lie in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the Cleveland Browns coaching search? And how much does it complicate things for Cleveland? Because Udinski has got to be considered a finalist, right? He's one of the 4 or 5 guys they're bringing in for a second interview. How does it complicate things for Cleveland that apparently Buffalo is now also interested in talking to Grant Udinski? And as far as Anthony Campanile goes, we know he interviewed in Miami. That job is already gone to Jeff Hafley. We know he interviewed in Baltimore. And now we know he virtually interviewed in Arizona, and he's going out there reportedly tomorrow for an in-person interview. You know, I'm not surprised that both guys are getting this much attention. That's what happens when a team goes from 4-13 to 13-4. All right, when you have a jump of that magnitude from 4 wins to 13 wins, including winning 8 in a row heading into the playoffs, people are going to want the secret sauce, man. They're going to want to know what's going on in Duval County. And they're going to look at this 43-year-old defensive coordinator that was having his defense taking the ball away at will. They're going to look at his defensive players like Antonio Johnson and Monteric Brown and Devin Lloyd and all of these guys that had career years with him, Jarian Jones. It's not any secret why Campanile is in demand. And with Udinski, he's a 30-year-old offensive whiz kid. He's a savant. Everybody you talked to in Minnesota said it last year before he came to Jacksonville. The dude is wired differently. He's unbelievable when it comes to numbers and game planning and drawing up this formation and that formation. The odd thing about it, though, and Cleveland would be taking a risk. Yes, he's 30 years old, but even more so than that is he never has called plays in an NFL game. So I guess my question is, and Scott Petrak, I'll go ahead and tell you, we had a lengthy conversation about this. There is a thought in Cleveland, and it's a pretty good thought, and it's certainly one they're talking about up there, where, all right, Udinski's a finalist with a veteran, Jim Schwartz, who has been with the Browns forever, but is a defensive guy. So potentially, could the Browns have their cake and eat it too? Could they convince Schwartz to stay on as the DC and hire a guy like Udinski? Or the flip side of that, could Schwartz become the head coach and you go get Grant Udinski to be your offensive coordinator and you say, well, Hacker, the Jaguars could block that. It's a lateral move. Yeah, they could. They could. But Udinski doesn't call plays here. He would get the opportunity to call plays in Cleveland. And I don't know, truthfully, what the Jaguars would do. But that, I can guarantee you, is being talked about in Cleveland, Ohio. You will hear Scott Petrak of BrownsZone.com say as much coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. So it's going to be fascinating to see what happens with both guys. Both guys very much being sought after for interviews at the very least. And we'll see. Again, you just have to put your trust in Liam Cohen. He went out last offseason and he found Udinski and he found Campanile. And you have to trust Liam that who will go out and find replacements if, and it's really if/when. If it's not this year, it'll be probably next year. If/when both guys depart for head coaching opportunities. So more on that coming up in about 15 minutes or so. A couple of things I wanted to get to real quick, just dive into real quick. We'll get right back into the NFL in a moment. Mentioned this towards the end of last night's program. Boy, the Florida Gator basketball team, they are cooking, man. They are cooking with grease right now. From 5-4 to 14-5, winners of 9 out of their last 10. They're now 5-1 in SEC play. If they win this weekend, they'll be back in the top 15, maybe even the top 10 in America. You know, Todd Golden got an awful lot of credit last year, and with good reason, right? They won the national championship. But that was a ridiculously good team. 3 guards on that team are in the NBA right now, with Walter Clayton, Will Richard, and Elijah Martin. Great job by Golden, yes. But I almost wonder if through 19 games this year, he hasn't done as good, if not even maybe a tad better, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, they lost 3 guards that are now playing in the NBA. That is obvious. But also, they lost some heartbreakers at the beginning of the year. Basically, a buzzer beater loss at Duke. You lose by 1 at the Garden to UConn. You lose by 6 in Las Vegas to Arizona. You lose by what? Less than 5 to TCU, and you lose by a bucket to Missouri. I mean, heartbreakers. Backcourt's not playing very well. You would think the front court was probably getting a little frustrated, right? Only natural. That team is hung together. That team has now won 9 out of their last 10. In the backcourt of Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee, and now the emergence of Isaiah Brown, they're going to be good, man. If this continues, it's going to be a hard team to beat. If those guards continue playing the way they do, you already know what you got with Halk and Condon and Chinyalu and Hanlogden. And by the way, Ruben Chinyalu, first Gator since David Lee to have 4 back-to-back double-doubles in 4 consecutive games. First Gator since David Lee to do that. That's a long time. He has been awesome this year, and I believe he was just named the National Basketball Player of the Week. Whatever the NCAA award is for that. Shame on me, I should know it, but I think I saw where Chinyalu was the Player of the Week nationally for what he's done for the Florida Gators, including, by the way, last night's performance of 15 points and 21 rebounds in Florida's win over LSU. More on that coming up in a little bit. Obviously, we will get back into the National Football League as well, and even a little college football talk. Transfer portal starting to wind down as the dust has settled for now. Not all the way settled, but it's starting to settle. What about Florida? How'd the portal treat them? How'd the portal treat Florida State? Miami hasn't even really had a chance to do much in the portal. They just ended their season 48 hours ago. We'll look at that as well coming up a little bit in the 9 o'clock hour. We're glad you're with us on a Tuesday night. Check out a Wednesday night. Are you kidding me? I don't want to give days back. A Wednesday night here on Hacker After Dark. Again, Scott Petrak, BrownsZone.com up in Cleveland, talking all things Grant Udinski. He joins me in less than 15 minutes. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
There's a reason why people love to listen to play-by-play on the radio.
This is unbelievable what we're witnessing. I'm serious.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
Pages in your mailbox right now. Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go. Pages in your mailbox right now.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser start the week by giving the ball to the best back in Duval.
And off, Fred Taylor.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins DUI defense firm on 1010XL.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Ghost. Skeletor World Tour 2026. Ghost. Theatrical. Arena Rock. January 22nd, Five-Star Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Ghost. Don't miss Ghost.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
So Mel Kiper Jr. put out his first mock draft, I guess mock draft 1.0. Keep in mind, the Jaguars don't have a first-round pick, so mock drafts, at least only first-round mock drafts, will not have near the impact here in Jacksonville over the next 3 months as they traditionally do. But I'll give you the greatest hits from Mel Kiper's mock draft today on ESPN.com. He, of course, had Fernando Mendoza going number 1 to the Raiders. You know, Aaron, I do wonder about that. Mendoza, we saw an unbelievable performance to win the national championship. Obviously a Heisman Trophy winner. I go back to his 1 year at Cal, where I didn't think he was particularly good. That was one of Florida State's 2 wins, was beating a Mendoza-led Cal team in 2024. Quickly, what kind of pro do you think Mendoza is going to be out there if Las Vegas ultimately drafts him?
Well, I think after watching him in that national championship game, he's won me over. The kid has grit. He has a lot of guts. So that 4th and 5 play, like you said last night, that's going to be a play that's going to be looked at and previewed for national championship games to come.
That'll be Vince Young against USC. That'll be Devontae Smith's touchdown against Georgia. That'll be one of the plays you think about during the national title games.
Yeah. So when you look at him. From that game alone last night, and then you go back and look at the game against Ohio State where he gets hit on the first play of the game, gets up, comes back the next play. So he's tough. I think he's going to be good. I think if you're the Raiders, you have to go get him.
Fernando Mendoza goes number 1 to the Raiders in Mel Kiper's mock draft. Let me give you the greatest hits. All right, Francis Mauigoa, the offensive tackle of Miami, goes number 3 to Arizona. Carnell Tate, the wide receiver, Ohio State, 5 to the New York Giants. Ruben Bain of Miami, number 7 to Washington. Means 2 Hurricanes go in the top 10. Jeremiah Love, running back, Notre Dame, to Kansas City at 9. Boy, that's weird. Seeing Kansas City pick at number 9 in the draft. That is weird.
They're gonna need some help. They're gonna need a lot of help.
There's no doubt. Cincinnati, by the way, picks at 10. So Mahomes at 9, Burrow's team at 10. When's the last time the Chiefs and the Bengals have both been in the top 10?
And the Jags don't have a number 1 pick.
Jags don't have a number 1 because the trade. Yeah, it would have been 24. We'll get there in a moment. Ty Simpson of Alabama, number 16 to the New York Jets. 16 for Ty Simpson. That's interesting. C.J. Allen of Georgia, 19 to Carolina. Another Miami player, Mesidor, the defensive end, goes to Dallas at number 20. Peter Woods of Clemson goes to the Chargers at 22, where Jacksonville would have drafted 24. Obviously, that's the Travis Hunter trade. Zachariah Branch from Georgia in Mel Kiper's draft to Cleveland. Is there anything else worth mentioning? No. Caden Proctor from Alabama, the big tackle that sometimes doubled as a wide receiver in the goal line. He goes to Houston at 28. Freeling from Georgia, the interior lineman, to the Rams at 29. Caleb Banks, 30 to Denver. So the Florida Gator defensive tackle, who missed a large portion of his final year in Gainesville with an injury, came back for the final 2 games. Mel Kiper does have him going 30th to the Denver Broncos, and that's probably it for the greatest hits. Keep in mind, too, even though Jacksonville does not have a first-round pick, Travis Hunter only played 7 games. He's coming back. You never even saw Caleb Ransaw, who was your 3rd-round pick last year. He didn't play a down in the regular season due to injury. You get him back. And Jacksonville, as it stands right now, still has 11 draft picks overall, including 4 in the top 100. I believe the way it stands right now, Jacksonville has picks at 56, 81, 88, 100, and then their 5th pick is like 120. So just basically 5 picks in the top 120, despite not having a first-rounder. You could do a lot worse than that if you're Jacksonville. Speaking of Cleveland, right? The Jaguars and the Browns did a lot of business together. I'm going to ask Scott Petrak, BrownZone.com, about Tyson Campbell. We know kind of how Greg Newsome did here. We know what the future likely will hold for Greg Newsome here when free agency begins. What was the thought on Tyson Campbell up in Cleveland? We'll talk about that. But we'll mainly talk about Grant Udinski. Obviously a hot name for the Cleveland Browns head coaching search. He's already interviewed with Cleveland virtually once. He reportedly will meet with them in person on Friday for a second interview. How much in play is Grant Udinski? Where would Scott Petrak, who covers him every day, he's down there every day, where would he have Grant Udinski in the pecking order of these candidates that want the Cleveland Browns job? We'll talk about it next. Hacker After Dark on a Wednesday night here in Northeast Florida up to Cleveland to talk to Scott Petrak, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Celebrating the Duval worker. The home of Jacksonville sports fans. 1010XL.
Be the first to discover the best new home community in beautiful Green Cove Springs. Highland Trail, where the rhythm of life slows down. Enjoy green spaces, luxury pools, pickleball courts, winding trails, and more at livehighlandtrail.com. Choose from 3 premium builders, just starting in the 300s.
Oh, at Highland Trail.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Running a small business is tough, so the Florida Small Business Development Center at UNF provides a free business checkup, a personalized analysis that helps you boost profits, your online presence, and increase your company's value. No cost, no strings attached. It's guidance from experts who understand what it takes to succeed in business. Whether you're just starting out or ready to expand, it's time to act. Complete a request for consulting at unf.edu/SBDC.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. Before termites attack your home or business and cause costly damage, Terminix it. Terminix stops termites in my home fast. These destructive pests may have been around for millions of years, but before they show up, so does Terminix. And their time is up. Don't live with a termite problem. I certainly wasn't going to. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. Terminix.com.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
I'm with Retro Cycles of Jacksonville, and the fall part of the year just offers so much fun, especially when you're out and about. Tell everybody what's happening with Triumph right now.
They have got a lot of new models on the road, from Scrambler 400s. They've got the legendary Rocket motorcycle. Lots of really cool bikes to choose from.
And the price point and all the tricks that come with the Triumph bike, they're all there.
They're all there. Entry level to the greatest of the great. We've got them.
Look for them online, cyclesofjacksonville.com. Check out their Facebook page or that showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. There are still numerous head coaching openings in the National Football League. Some have been filled, more than not have not, and that is Cleveland's look right now, as Cleveland, I believe, is one of 6 teams that have yet to hire a head coach. But we know they're very interested in Jaguar offensive coordinator Grant Udinski. He is virtually interviewed, and he reportedly is scheduled to travel up there on Friday for an in-person interview. How much in play is Grant Udinski for the Cleveland job? Our guy, when it comes to the Browns, is Scott Petrak of BrownZone.com, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Scott, how we doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Hey, Scott, we're good. Thank you for the time. Quickly, before we get to Udinski and everything that entails, Stefanski gets fired and gets hired again by another NFL team a week and a half later. Surprise in Cleveland that Stefanski got picked up so quickly by Atlanta?
No. You could see it coming even before he got fired, that there would be interest in him. I think he could have wound up with the Giants if Harbaugh didn't get fired. He had interest from, I think, every team in the league that had an opening contact or interviewed Stefanski. So he's just a good coach. I think it speaks more to how the Cleveland situation is viewed across the league, that the guy could get fired and then immediately have all this interest, and he gets hired less than 2 weeks after he gets fired. He won Coach of the Year twice, took this team to the playoffs twice, something that nobody had done here in forever. So I understand why the team wound up firing him. But if, teams across the league take a step back and look big picture, they go, hey, this is one of the best coaches in the league.
And, yeah, that was my next question. I mean, obviously he was in demand. I know Tennessee wanted to talk to him. They couldn't even get the opportunity because Atlanta snatched him up. Why, if so many teams were interested in him, why did it not work out for Stefanski in Cleveland?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I do think sometimes change is necessary. I'm not saying that was the case this time, but I think that's how Browns ownership and the GM looked at it, that, hey, it was 6 years, and the last 2 years they only won 8 games, and they put that mostly on Kevin Stefanski. I disagree. I think it's really difficult for me to separate Kevin Stefanski from general manager Andrew Berry. And, you give one guy the losses and you give other guy who's in charge of the next coaching search, right? You leave the GM in place and then say, okay, go find another coach. I have a difficult time kind of wrapping my head around that. But, the results weren't good in the last 2 years. I know that ownership and the GM looked at it and said, the results could have been better this year, even with a limited roster. They thought they should have won games. They thought some things in game weren't handled like they should, and the coach takes the fall for that. But like I said, if you look at the other teams looking outside in, say, that's fine. All those things are okay. But this guy did a really good job in his time in Cleveland. He's a smart guy. He's young. He's a good face of the franchise. People respect him, so I think it's an easy call to give him a second chance across the league.
Scott Petrak of BrownZone.com. Final thought before we get to Grant Udinski, which is the main reason I wanted you on, Scott. I got to ask about Tyson Campbell. From our standpoint in that trade, Greg Newsome did some nice things, some things that, quite frankly, weren't very good, and I would be surprised if Newsome was back here in Jacksonville next year. How did Campbell perform after that trade?
He was really good up here. He had a tough spot his first game. I think Jacksonville played on a Monday night. The trade happened Wednesday. So he comes in and, has a short week, goes out and starts, plays, if not every snap, almost every snap. Was on an island against DK Metcalf a bunch in Pittsburgh, and Aaron Rodgers went after him. And there were some good plays or some bad plays. And then I thought he played much better as the season went on, as you'd expect. He got more comfortable. I think he's a good fit for Jim Schwartz's scheme. We'll have to see if Jim Schwartz's scheme is still here next year. But, the Browns play a lot of man. Tyson's a big, physical, fast guy. Made tackles, played well in coverage. I think he did a really good job. And you put him and Denzel Ward together, I think it's one of the best cornerback tandems in the league. The Browns love that he's under contract. Obviously, Greg Newsome wasn't under contract, so they had a decision, or would have had a decision to make with him, just like Jacksonville does now. So the Browns think they won that trade, and they don't think it was close.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Now, part of that was Jacksonville wanting to get at least some of that money off the books, because obviously that was Trent Baalke that did that and not James Gladstone. But certainly Newsome did have his struggles here in Jacksonville. All right. Let's talk about Grant Udinski, the 30-year-old Jaguar offensive coordinator. We know he virtually interviewed this past weekend. I believe he's scheduled to travel up there to interview in person on Friday. And if you look at some of the betting sites, he is one of the favorites to land the Cleveland job. You cover that team as well as anybody. Is Udinski the favorite at this point?
I have him as my second favorite. I think Jim Schwartz, the Browns defense coordinator, is still the guy that I would bet on to get this job, with Udinski a close second. And I've just always thought that it was leaning towards Schwartz from maybe even before Stefanski was fired. You kind of see a little rumblings that, hey, is Schwartz going to be the guy? I think the Browns have an interesting decision to make. And obviously, Udinski hasn't even had the second interview, right? So who knows how that goes? Does he blow him away? Does he make him say, hey, we have to go with this 30-year-old that we think can be the next, everybody says it, right? Sean McVay, the next guy. I think it's still to be determined. I just think the Browns don't want to lose Schwartz. And the only way you can make sure you don't lose Schwartz is by giving him the head coaching job. And you can talk all you want about, hey, they can hire Udinski and ask Schwartz to stay as coordinator. He's got an ego. I don't know if he would do that. So I think there's a lot of dominoes. There's a lot of balls up in the air here. But I think it's those two guys are the favorites. And, one guy's 59, has been a head coach before. He's been in the building the last 3 years. The other guy just turned 30. Has never called plays, right? Never been a head coach at any level. There's a lot of risk there. And I think it could be a franchise-defining decision one way or the other. It could be the best hire they ever make, or they could be looking for another coach in a year. So I think there's more risk with Udinski. Doesn't mean it's wrong, but that's why I lean slightly towards Schwartz.
I always have to be careful to realize that social media isn't the entire world. But when you're on social media and you see Brown fans and even some Brown podcasters and whatnot, there seems to be steam picking up for Udinski. Is he the guy that some of the fans want?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Schwartz would be a popular pick, which surprised me, because my initial read on the situation was it was too much the same. You keep Schwartz. After going 8-26 the last 2 years, it feels like you need to do more than just get rid of the head coach. For a while, I thought they might try to keep offensive coordinator Tommy Rees, which then would be a lot of the same. I don't think that's in play anymore. So I think the fans like Jim Schwartz. They like what he did with the defense. The defense is really good this year. Myles Garrett obviously had his best year, set the sack record. There's a bunch of examples like that. So I think Schwartz, and he's fiery, which people are looking for because Kevin Stefanski's not the most fiery personality. So I think Schwartz would be popular, and I wasn't sure about that, kind of toward the end of the year. Now I do believe that a lot of fans would be good with that hire. I also think that it's easy to get behind Udinski, right? The guy's young. If you know his story, you watch some of his interviews, he's a likable guy, right? Slept in his car when he's trying to get, break into the business, all those things. I think the idea of a young offensive genius that is going to take whatever quarterback it is, maybe it's Shedeur Sanders, maybe it's somebody else, and figure out a way to win, like that's enticing, especially when the Browns offense is so bad, or was so bad in 2025, that I could see fans falling for that, and it makes complete sense. And if they hire Schwartz, then they got to figure out what they're going to do at offensive coordinator, because that's a huge hole, and that's where all the resources are going to go this offseason. So I think Udinski would be popular, but you know how fan bases are. As soon as he lost the game, as soon as he screwed up a press conference, people are like, oh my gosh, we hired this young kid, right? So I think people be fine with that, but it'd be a wait and see, just because he's so young and has never done it.
Final moment, Scott Petrak, brownzone.com. Scott, as we wrap up, the thought crossed my mind because I was talking to some people in Washington before they hired an offensive coordinator, and Udinski's name had come up there as maybe asking the Jaguars, hey, we would like to hire this guy to call plays. And the Jaguars could certainly block that because you can't make a lateral move. And that brings me to Cleveland, right? If they hire Jim Schwartz, you said they need to hire a coordinator. Would they want their cake and want to eat it as well and say, hey, Jacksonville, we want to hire Udinski to call plays? Now, the Jaguars could block them from doing that. What is your thought on that potential situation?
Yeah, I think the Browns are looking for the best of both worlds, whether that's hiring Grant Udinski or Nate Scheelhaus or, one of these young offensive guys, and those are the two guys that qualify that are getting second interviews, and keeping Jim Schwartz as defensive coordinator, or flipping it and making Schwartz the head coach, and hiring a Scheelhaus or a Udinski or a Dan Pitcher from Cincinnati as their offensive coordinator. So I kind of think the organization should be good either way that goes. But certainly if they went with Schwartz, let's say Schwartz over Udinski, I certainly think the Browns would love for him to be the coordinator. But like you said, Jacksonville doesn't have to allow that. I don't know if it would or not. We saw Cincinnati is letting Pitcher interview for coordinator jobs because he doesn't call the plays down there. I don't even know if they would let that go to Cleveland, right? Like they can let him interview with Tampa Bay, but I don't think you have to let him interview inside your division, right? So that would be a decision for Jacksonville to make, but I'm sure the Browns would love that scenario.
And Scott, leave us with this, and we'll do more of this when we do our division previews with you later on in the summer. Is it Shedeur Sanders' job going into 2026, or is there a real question there?
I think there's a real question there. It might be – I think he played pretty well over these last 7 games and improved in areas and showed me potential. And I always liked him, and I think he's got a chance to be a starter in this league. But I don't know how you look at the 7 games and say, yeah, I'm confident that he can be a winning quarterback in 2026. So having said that, knowing that they're trying to win next year, they're trying to upgrade the offense significantly, I don't know how you can just say, yes, he's the guy. Now, it might turn out that way. We know what the draft, we think we know what the draft looks like from a quarterback perspective. There's limited options in trade and free agency. But I think the Browns will do whatever they can to upgrade that position. And it might wind up being Shedeur, but I certainly don't think you can say with any kind of definitiveness that he's going to be the week 1 starter.
Interesting times around the league. Grant Udinski getting a second interview in Cleveland on Friday, and apparently now Buffalo has also entered the mix. Quickly, give us 30 seconds. Does that affect Cleveland at all that Buffalo is now another team interested in Udinski?
Just to the degree that the Browns thought they were the only team that was interviewing him. So it looks like, hey, you kind of got this guy to yourself. I don't know if it was realistic to think that nobody else would get in on that. So, Buffalo's ready to win a Super Bowl. I don't know if they go with the 30-year-old head coach. But yeah, the Browns have to be aware of that. If he winds up being the number 1 guy, Buffalo's more attractive. So you certainly don't want to lose him to Buffalo.
He's our guy when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, Scott Petrak of brownzone.com. Scott, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. We'll talk soon, pal.
Thanks, bud.
Story is the foundation of all entertainment.
1010XL.
It's a fun name to pronounce. Try and say it.
Where stories come to life every day.
So you're finally going to put me in one of your stories.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Is that a turtleneck? Can't you feel it, Jason? There's a chill in the air. A definite nip. I mean, it is January. In Jacksonville, Jason. I didn't come here for cold. Well, I wouldn't call this. Cold weather gives me the sniffles. Sniffles turns to pneumonia. Suddenly, I'm in a hospital bed with a tube down my throat because Florida didn't get the memo about ignoring winter. So, switch over to heat. What if my system can't remember how to heat? Dude, put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air & Plumbing can make sure your system is ready to switch from cooling to heat. We'll clean your heating coil to get rid of that burning dust smell and make sure you have the coolant pressure to keep your heat pump pumping out the heat. I had no idea these sunglasses worked in the winter.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
If you're thinking about getting a new roof sometime this year, Endless Summer Roofing can help. I'm Claudia, owner of Endless Summer Roofing. Stronger materials, expert installation, real peace of mind. A new roof isn't just an upgrade. It's the primary source of protection for your family home. Visit EndlessSummerRoofing.com for a free inspection today, and I'll make sure you're ready for tomorrow. Endless Summer Roofing. Protecting your home from Florida's endless summers.
Get straight talk from D-Rock.
So let me get this straight.
Mike Duraco.
And we get his insight every Thursday from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Open by Lee and Kate's Glass. Guaranteed greatness since 1926 on 1010XL.
Get ready for an unforgettable night of classic rock with legendary Queensryche vocalist Jeff Tate.
Performing the hit album Operation Mindcrime for the final time.
One night only, January 28th at Florida Theater. Timeless hits from the unmistakable voice of Jeff Tate. Get your tickets now at floridatheater.com.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
The best wings in town are coming to River City Marketplace. Leon Searcy here. Wingstop is opening another North Jacksonville location soon at the end of December. You always get fresh, made-to-order wings in 11 flavors, including original, hot, garlic parm, and of course, lemon pepper. Wingstop now has 18 locations in Jacksonville, always open until 1 a.m. So skip the wait and order your wings online at wingstop.com and swing by to pick up at the brand new Wingstop location in River City Marketplace.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Work it, make it, do it. Makes us all better, faster, stronger.
This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Again, thank you to Scott Petrak, BrownZone.com. Again, Grant Udinski scheduled to meet with Cleveland in person on Friday. We'll see what ultimately happens there. Anthony Campanile reportedly going to meet with Arizona in person tomorrow. He also has already met virtually with the Cardinals. So it appears we will go out to Phoenix tomorrow night here on Hacker After Dark, and we'll get the latest from the Arizona perspective on how much in play Anthony Campanile may be with Arizona. That's a tough job. Look, there's only 32 jobs in the NFL, right? So you'll take any job you can get for the most part. But think about Campanile versus Udinski for a moment. Both Arizona and Cleveland are going to be tough jobs. Udinski's 30 years old. Does he want to go to a situation like Cleveland that has a dumpster fire at quarterback? Or can he be a little bit more choosy? Because if he comes back to Jacksonville, if the offense thrives again, well, guess what? He'll be maybe the number one commodity in the coaching carousel next offseason. Whereas if you're Campanile, you're 43, right? You're not ancient. That's still pretty young, but it's not 30. You had an all-world defensive effort this year with takeaways and everything that went on. Will you be able to reproduce that if you lose a guy like Devin Lloyd, if you lose, Monteric Brown, Greg Newsome? I don't know. I think with Campanile, you might be a little bit more eager to get a job. In Arizona would be tough, though, because think about anybody that takes over the Arizona Cardinals. Well, first and foremost, you're going into a division where you have to play Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, and Mike McDonald 6 times a year. All right, I don't know if you know this. The NFC West had 3 of the final 4 teams in the NFC. And you're the other team in that division, being Arizona. So that's pretty tough. Arizona historically does not pay their coaches a ton of money. That's why they usually don't make big splashes. They either get retreads that are going to stay in the game, or they get first-year guys, kind of like they did with Jonathan Gannon from Philadelphia. I mean, they don't pay horribly, but they don't pay in the upper tier of what some teams pay for their coaches. It's a tough sell, and it'll be a tough job. But there are only 32 NFL head coaching jobs on planet Earth. So I imagine it would be awfully hard to pass one up. A couple of guys have passed ones up, though. Mike McDaniel, we talked about this last night. He, formerly of the Miami Dolphins, was in the running for the Cleveland Browns head coaching job. He reportedly pulled his name out of that. He's still being discussed anyway with the Raider job and the Raven job, but we told you last night, more than likely, he wants to be the offensive coordinator of the LA Chargers. Well, that was yesterday. Today, you already had something similar with Brian Flores. Brian Flores, former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, terrific defensive mind. One of the guys that Anthony Campanile credits with his success. Has been a very good D coordinator in Minnesota the last couple of years. Interviewed for some head coaching jobs, including the Pittsburgh job earlier this week. And yet a couple hours ago, he signs on to remain in Minnesota as the Viking defensive coordinator. Pretty surprising. Now, maybe those guys got some sort of inkling, some sort of idea that the head coaching positions weren't going to go their way. Or maybe some guys just prefer to be coordinators at this stage of their career. Brian Flores might be one of those guys. Mike McDaniel might be one of those guys. But they've already been to the summit. They've already been head coaches. It's probably easier to turn down a head coaching gig and return to being a coordinator when you've already had the opportunity of being a head coach. It would probably be considerably harder if you're a guy like Campanile or a guy like Udinski to turn down one of these jobs if they are offered to you. A guy that does have a job as a head coach in the NFL now is Robert Saleh. He is the brand new head coach of the Tennessee Titans. What does Robert Saleh's arrival in Nashville do to the rivalry of the Jaguars and the Titans? We know the history that Saleh and Liam Cohen have. Keep my name out your mouth. Remember all that back in week 4 out in the Bay Area? The post-game interaction that Saleh and Cohen had after the week of Saleh running his mouth, accusing the Jaguar coaches of legally stealing. I talked about that last night. It's an oxymoron. How can you legally steal something? You're using the term stealing. That in and of itself has a negative connotation. But Saleh is now the new man in charge of Tennessee. We're looking at it from a Jacksonville point of view. What about a Tennessee Titan point of view? How excited are they for Robert Saleh? And what potentially could Robert Saleh's arrival mean for the Tennessee side of the Titan-Jaguar rivalry? And I got another one for you. Saleh's a defensive guy. Who's going to be the offensive coordinator to help Cam Ward? There's some big names being thrown around in Nashville. We'll talk about all of it with my buddy Tyler Rowland, the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. He's one of our main guys when it comes to the Tennessee Titans. and he joins me next on a Wednesday night here in Duval County in Northeast Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark till 10 o'clock on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
There are many ways to experience 1010XL.
The key to this whole thing is their computer.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Get me that computer program. Yes, sir.
At 1010XL.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, johnautomotivejacks.com.
Money pages in your mailbox right now.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Money pages in your mailbox right now.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the adorable chess man on the tracks.
There are two things you should ask yourself about your garage floor. How clean is it now, and how clean would you like it to be? A typical bare concrete floor doesn't just collect dirt, it makes dirt.
It is literally made of dirt.
As much as you sweep and mop, the dust and grit just never ends.
And drips from your car seep into the pores, staining the concrete forever.
A Checkmate multi-layer floor resists drips and stains. It comes in your choice of dozens of colors and sweeps up sparkling clean in just seconds.
No need to wear shoes in the garage and track dirt back in the house.
Gorgeous?
Check. Durable?
Check. Tidy enough to walk on wearing clean white socks? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Ballou here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
A new year is the perfect time to finally get organized. Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and I love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to home offices, entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and more. Beautiful, functional storage for any space, lifestyle, and budget. Start the new year strong with 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free in-home consultation. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit HollisPools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Get ready for an unforgettable night of classic rock with legendary Queensryche vocalist Jeff Tate.
Performing the hit album Operation Mindcrime for the final time.
One night only, January 28th at Florida Theater. Timeless hits from the unmistakable voice of Jeff Tate. Get your tickets now at floridatheater.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. We have a brand new head coach in the AFC South, Robert Saleh, the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Of course, an old friend here in Jacksonville based on his interactions with Liam Cohen this past season. We'll talk about that, but first and foremost, what has been the reaction with our rivals up in Nashville to the arrival of Robert Saleh with Tennessee? One of our guys when it comes to the Titans is Tyler Rowland. He is the host of the Locked On Titans podcast, and Tyler is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Tyler, how we doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. It is definitely a crazy time of year. A lot of news, a lot of stuff happening. I mean, I can't even go to bed without the Titans making some noise. So it's a crazy time, as I said, but I love it. That's what we're all in it for, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. We're a year in front of you guys. It was the same here in Jacksonville last year with the whole Liam Cohen situation and the firing of Trent Baalke and the way that happened. So I certainly know what you guys are going through this year. And let's talk about Robert Saleh. The Titans interviewed a lot of guys. John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski might have been top of list, but at the end of the day, they end up with Robert Saleh. What's been your thought on the hire?
I think they certainly could have done worse, like a guy like Matt Nagy. And quite honestly, I don't think that, it was a premium coaching cycle in terms of some of the names. But when you really look at it, outside of a guy like John Harbaugh, I don't think anybody was a true slam dunk. I mean, Jeff Hafley went to the Dolphins. He's got some issues that you could point to. Kevin Stefanski got eviscerated by Baker Mayfield on social media recently, which is that the guy you want to put with your young quarterback like Cam Ward? So I think out of all of the options, what the Titans were looking for was a true leader, a guy who could be a culture guy. Quite frankly, a correction back towards the Mike Vrabel style is what the Titans were looking for here. And I think Robert Saleh is about as good as you could have done in this hiring cycle from that regard once John Harbaugh was off the board.
You know, to that point, Tyler, and I made this point on social media, Titan fans got a little upset with me, but I'll ask you, is this an admittance of them messing up with Mike Vrabel? I mean, if you're going to get a guy like Robert Saleh, didn't you already have that with Mike Vrabel?
Well, I think what it is an admittance of is that Brian Callahan was a terrible hire and Rand Carthon was a terrible hire, which if you go back to those, it all starts because they picked those guys over Mike Vrabel. So I know that Titans fans want to say, Vrabel didn't do well here. He forced his way to New England. His 6-18 in his final, all the stuff that I said to Ryan. Like, I have to admit culpability here. I looked at the 6-18 record in the last 24, the inability to get an offensive coordinator right, the lack of offensive pop, the way Vrabel tried to take power from the general manager and run the roster himself, which I still don't think is a great idea in the NFL. And all of that just made me feel like, hey, maybe it is time to move on. But there is no way you can be self-aware, you can be an honest, integral person and not admit the Titans messed up. They got rid of one of the top 5 coaches in the entire NFL. They got impatient and they moved on too fast. There's no way that you can say that firing Mike Vrabel, even though he was having a rough patch, was the smarter move than letting him work through that rough patch and then get a better offensive coordinator eventually. I'm sorry, I don't have it in me to lie and say that, oh, they didn't make a mistake. It was time. They should have moved on. He wanted out. No, the Titans messed that up royally, and I think, they're trying to correct that issue right now.
Tyler Rowland of the Locked On Titans podcast. You piqued my interest. What's been the reaction among Titan fans of what Vrabel has done this year in New England?
I think it's, relatively similar to a lot of other things that have happened with the Titans, just sadness. It's like A.J. Brown going to Philly. It's like watching Derrick Henry be good for the Ravens. I could go through a cavalcade of other smaller moves that fans of other teams wouldn't even recognize that are painful for the Titans. But, I mean, seeing Mike Vrabel go, it just feels like, and, I know Jacksonville has maybe felt some of this in their time period, although things are good right now. And it seems like, Ryan, when things are good, fans of these teams just forget when things were bad, which I get it, but I can't forget some of this stuff. But it's just happened so many times where somebody leaves the Titans and they go have success elsewhere. And Vrabel is kind of the biggest kick in the teeth in that regard. So to me, it's sadness overall. If you're an honest person, I think that's the only way that you can explain it. It's just sad to see the Titans make so many mistakes and get rid of so many clearly talented people too fast.
Well, hopefully the arrow is pointing up as Robert Saleh has arrived as the brand new head coach. And obviously, Tyler, when you bring in a guy like Saleh, you got to make sure you bring in the right offensive coordinator. Now, I know in watching your podcast, you were basically all in on Mike McDaniel. We have come to find out that apparently will not happen. It looks like the Chargers, if he's going to be an OC, I know he's still in play for maybe some head coaching opportunities. We come to find out this morning as well that Brian Dable, who, again, I know you're very high on, is getting a look at Buffalo, which would be an interesting fit. So where is Tennessee right now in their search for an offensive coordinator?
Well, like you said, as of this morning, the recent report is if Brian Dable doesn't get the head coaching job with the Buffalo Bills, he's going to be the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. Now, unfortunately, the Titans throughout this head coaching process have been more of a bridesmaid than the bride. So it gives me, I guess, some hesitation because I'm like, oh gosh, here we go again. The Titans were second place once again, and he's going to take the head coaching job in Buffalo. And it is worrisome because I think that if Robert Saleh doesn't get Brian Dable, the next best options are a lot worse. I love Cliff Kingsbury. He ran the air raid system in college with Texas Tech. Cam Ward has a similar skill set to Patrick. I'm not saying Cam is Patrick Mahomes, which is all people seem to hear when I say that, but they play football in a similar style of way. And Cliff Kingsbury's air raid system, Cam Ward ran the air raid system with Shannon Dawson and Mario Cristobal in Miami. So I think that would be a perfect fit, but it doesn't seem like Cliff Kingsbury has any interest whatsoever in coming to the Tennessee Titans in any capacity. So to me, that brings it to Brian Dable or bust at this point, because all the other options that I think are valid, like Bobby Slowick, former offensive coordinator of the Houston Texans, or Mike LaFleur, who was Robert Saleh's offensive coordinator his first 2 years in New York, or Clay Kubiak, who Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to let go as the offensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. I think all of those options pale in comparison to Brian Dable, and I think it's important for Robert Saleh to have almost a head coach level offensive coordinator, because he said, I'm calling defensive plays this time. He didn't call defensive plays with the New York Jets. He said it disconnected him from the team and the players and the game. He didn't like it. So he's really looking for a guy that can almost be a head coach of the offense more than just an offensive coordinator, because Saleh doesn't want to really spend too much time digging into the offensive side of the ball, and he wants to let somebody who he trusts do that. And if you don't get somebody who's been a previous head coach on the as an offensive mind, then it's kind of hard for a guy to really fulfill that duty, right? So I am a bit concerned with the way things have played out. The Titans have kind of been stuck in the chair watching other people have a good time, and I hope that doesn't turn out to be the case with Brian Dable as well, because it would be a slam dunk hire.
Final moments, Tyler Rowland, the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. That's interesting, Tyler. So it is your understanding that if Dable does not get the Buffalo head job, that he will be the Titans' next offensive coordinator?
Yes, correct. That is the general thought right now, that is kind of put in place, and it's all about what Buffalo decides to do.
And Buffalo has also asked permission to talk with Grant Udinski, the Jaguar offensive coordinator. So it's something we're certainly keeping an eye on. All right, again, Tyler Rowland here with us. I brought this up on my show last night. And the once proud rivalry, the once heated rivalry between the Jaguars and the Titans has fell on hard times. And it's the doing of both teams, right? Jacksonville hasn't held up their end of the bargain. Now Tennessee is not holding up their end of the bargain. I so miss the days of Steve McNair and Mark Brunell, right? Eddie George and Fred Taylor, Wycheck, Dyson, and Mason on one side, McCardell, Jimmy Smith, Kyle Brady on the other side. And now here we get Robert Saleh to Nashville. And you think about that interaction with Liam Cohen last year. Keep my name out your mouth, and you know, the exchanging of pleasantries. I got to tell you, Tyler, I think this is exactly what this rivalry needs to get back to maybe where it once was.
No, I agree 100%. It is good for the sport. It is good for our fandoms. It's just more fun when there's a little bit of real hate in there. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes things more fun when that's the case. And I think, you know, not only that kind of rivalry between those two gentlemen who are the coaches now, but also Robert Saleh should, in theory, give the Titans a higher floor. Maybe the ceiling isn't higher for the Titans with Robert Saleh. I think that would be a fair criticism. But the floor of what the team can be with Robert Saleh as the leader and the coach is much higher. And if the Titans are competitive and the Jags are a good football team, and we know that there's actual dislike between these two people, it only makes it much more fun, and to the victor go the spoils. So one of the main reasons I'm excited about Robert Saleh. He has coached for the Texans before. He knows D'Amico Ryans. He obviously has the feud with Liam Cohen. It's just more fun when there are real rivalries in sports, and getting this thing back to where it's back and forth. And I know Jags fans are like, well, we don't want you guys to win any games. Like, that doesn't make it more fun for us. But more competitive football games, not these 25-3 beatdowns because the Titans can't even compete. Let's be honest. It's much more fun to win a hard-fought game that matters rather than just kicking somebody down who isn't on your level. So I think from Titans fans' perspective, of course, they want the Titans to be better and more competitive, but it's going to feel more rewarding to beat the Titans if you're the Jaguars with Robert Saleh in there now.
I think it's going to be great for the rivalry, no doubt. Final moments with Tyler Rowland. All right, there's been some reporting, and I know some of it's been refuted, so Tyler, you tell me. Mike Borgonzi, the general manager, was Matt Nagy his guy, and did he get vetoed on that by the owner of the Titans?
So I know that came out in the initial Adam Schefter report. ESPN redacted it by the time that everybody woke up in the morning. And we had Albert Breer come out and say that that wasn't the case, that Borgonzi actually recommended Saleh to the owner. It was Borgonzi's recommendation there. So there's been conflicting reports. And I got to shout out my guy, Teron Davenport, who covers the Titans locally for ESPN. He has admitted that was my bad. Like there was a miscommunication between me and Schefter and what I was saying, the information that was relayed to me and how it was all presented. So he has corrected that online and provided clarity. I've spoken with Teron directly to kind of figure out what exactly happened. And it seems like it was just a little bit of a miscommunication. I mean, this article's coming out, at 2 a.m. in the morning and things get lost in translation. So I know that's a very salacious thing that is very believable, which is why we're talking about it. Because it's like Amy Adams Strunk has made so many mistakes over the last couple of years. It's completely believable that she would do something like that, considering what the fan base felt about Matt Nagy as a potential head coach. But I do trust Teron. I do trust the reports that I've heard and the people that I've talked to. I do not believe that was actually a case. It was Mike Borgonzi who said, no, we need to go with Robert Saleh. And he said in his press conference after the season, we don't care about offense, defense. I don't care about my relationships. We need a leader who can lead this football program, whether they're on offense or defense or not. And hiring Robert Saleh points to that as well. So I do believe that there was no owner overruling interference. The Titans wanted Saleh all along, and they make sure that he didn't get out of the building.
Tyler, we got 60 seconds. Final question. Another piece to this as well. Many people here in Jacksonville will tell you it came down to Liam Cohen and Robert Saleh last year, and that if Trent Baalke would have remained as GM, Robert Saleh would be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, that did not happen. I personally think Jacksonville was probably better off for that based on what we saw from Liam Cohen in 2025. But that's just another piece to this, is that Saleh came a whisker away from being our head coach, and now he goes to Nashville, remaining in the AFC South.
Well, I think that makes the rivalry even better, right? It's not just that they don't like each other. It's that there was a real competition between those jobs. And you wonder, like with Saleh with the OC, what's Liam Cohen going to do when he eventually loses Anthony Campanelli? That'll be a good conversation to see. It's an offensive mind versus a defensive mind. And I think that just adds to the legend here.
He's one of our guys when it comes to the Tennessee Titans. Tyler Rowland, the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. Tyler, for the Jaguar fans in the area that want to stay up to date with the rival up there in Nashville, what's the best way to find your program?
Yeah, find me on YouTube, any podcast platform, Locked On Titans. I'm also the lead national host for Locked On NFL if you want your national news there. And you can follow my incredible tweeting on X or whatever they call it, at Tic Tac Titans.
Yeah, Tyler is a good tweeter. There's no doubt about that. He'll ruffle some feathers. Absolutely. Hey, Tyler, I know you're busy, man. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon, pal.
Absolutely. Take care.
And thank you to Tyler Rowland, host of the Locked On Titans podcast, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. The arrival of Robert Saleh as the head coach in Nashville. Certainly an interesting decision. I mean, they basically had a defensive mind in Mike Vrabel, so I think they're probably admitting at this point that was a mistake to move on from Mike Vrabel. We'll see what Robert Saleh can do with his second stint as the head coach. Of course, it did not go well at the end with the New York Jets. And it adds, obviously a rivalry impact to the Jacksonville-Tennessee series because of the interaction between Liam Cohen and Robert Saleh last year. Certainly the Jaguar-Titan rivalry over the years has maybe lost a little bit of its luster due to poor performance, quite frankly, from both teams. But the arrival of Robert Saleh might change a little bit of that when it comes to the Jaguar-Titan rivalry. So we certainly spent some time on that. We spent some time on the coaching carousel as well, a little bit of time on the fallout from the national championship game. And we will begin to turn the page to Championship Sunday, as there is still an AFC Championship game and an NFC Championship game to be played this weekend in the National Football League. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very, very busy Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM, and we have a ton of people to thank. Again, my guy up in Tennessee is Tyler Rowland. He is the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. Always appreciate Tyler joining me. Likewise, my guy with the Cleveland Browns is Scott Petrak of BrownZone.com. As we talked, Grant Udinski, how much in play is the Jaguar offensive coordinator for the head coaching job in Cleveland? Some people believe he is the favorite. Now, all of a sudden, Buffalo apparently has come calling to Grant Udinski. How will that change things from Cleveland's perspective? And by the way, we know Anthony Campanile already interviewed in Miami. That job went to Jeff Hafley. He interviewed yesterday in Baltimore, and it has been reported that he is now scheduled to meet in person with Arizona. So that certainly changes things a little bit as well, as the Jaguars, both coordinators, are in somewhat high demand with still 6 job openings in the NFL. So, and again, back in hour number 1 as well, my buddy Leon Searcy. We talked about all of this with Leon, and we also had the fallout from a Miami Hurricane Hall of Famer about his perspective on Monday night's loss in the national championship game to Indiana. And we appreciate Leon taking time out for us here on Hacker After Dark. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Aaron Williams was your producer tonight. Aaron, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have a terrific remainder of your Wednesday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Thursday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
Picture a man going on a journey beyond sight and sound.